In this lesson, what we're going to talk about is the simple concept of ad tracking. If you don't know what it is, all it really is it's taking the blindfold off. It lets you see from any particular traffic source that you may be using and generating leads from, how it's converting, how those leads are converting to sales, so that you can look back and say, well, this is a fruitful stream of traffic, or it's not. So you can continue to use it and profit long term, or turn it off so you don't waste ad revenue or ad dollars, ad spending dollars. That's all ad tracking is. It's taking the blindfolders off and being able to see behind the scenes. And where we are right now is we're at one of my ad tracking accounts. This is a website called adminder.com. We're going to log in here in a few seconds. There's several different ad tracking softwares you can use. AdMinder's one. There's free ones out there too. Another good one's hypertracker.com. But I'm also going to be providing you with a ad tracking solution that does all the same functions as this that we're going to go through right now, but you actually get to host it on your own domain hosting, and you never have to pay for it. It's because I actually have resale rights to it, and I'm going to give it to you as a cool gift so that you have ad tracking for life for free. So I want to go through this account so I can show you the basic functionalities. I'm going to show you two things: how to set up a tracking link and how to install a tracking pixel on one of your thank you pages so that you can actually have your traffic, so you can actually see how much of your traffic turns into leads, the conversion rates, etc. So let's go ahead and dig in. So here we are inside of AdMinder, and I just want to make sure you're aware of a little bit of the terminology here, because this is pretty much the same terminology you're going to see anywhere out there online. Number one, ad code. When you create a tracking link, which is going to redirect to your lead capture page or some form of place where you can eventually get leads and generate revenue, you're going to give it a little code. You're going to name it something, and that's all this is, whatever you name it. C stands for clicks. How many people actually go to the page through your link? CPC, cost per click. So if the ad that you were running had a specific cost to it, you could see how much you were paying per click. So as an example, we can see here that this got 2 clicks for whatever it was probably 5-6 years ago, and only 2 people clicked on it. I must have paid $40 because the cost per click was 20. So 2 times 20 equals 40. Before we go in there and check and see if I'm right, let me go through the rest of this. Actions, A equals actions, and that means something like a new lead coming in. Something simple like that. An action that's not a sale. Cost per action is exactly what you would think it is. How much it cost from your total dollar spent to get that action, that lead. And CTA, click to action, is actually the percentage how many people clicked and turned into an action. So if we had this many, so a simple one to look at here is a whole bunch of clicks, only a few leads. So our actual click to action percentage was only 0.1% of people that clicked turned into leads. So it's just a percentage based on the numbers over here. It's actually your conversion rate from traffic to lead is pretty much the way to think about it. Sales, S stands for sales, pretty self-explanatory. Clicks per sale, cost per CPS stands for cost per sale. So if you spent $40 and you got 2 sales, then it costs you $20 per sale. Simple math. Click to sale is again a percentage. How many clicks it took you to get a sale. So this is like your conversion rate from traffic to sale. Most sales letters, it might be 0.5%, 1%, and this is where you're going to be able to see that. ROI is your return on investment. So if you place an ad and it was profitable, you'll be able to see that amount over here. So that's what all these things mean. C, clicks, cost per click, action, cost per action, click to action, percentage. Sales, cost per sale, click to sale, so another percentage. ROI, return on investment. So that's the terminology we're working with here. Let's go into this one and see if I was right. This cost me $40 probably, exactly $40, 2 clicks, and so 2 clicks with a $40 total cost means I paid $20 per click in that instance. Now, I don't know if that was really what it was or something. I changed the code back in the day, but simple math is what I wanted to show you right there. So there's 2 sides to ad tracking. When you use ad tracking on your own website, when you use ad tracking on your own website, you want to place what's called a tracking pixel so that your tracking program knows that someone came through your lead capture page and got your sales page, for instance. The way you set up that tracking pixel is you go to, and here, in terms of ad monitors, we go to the user guide. And then we scroll down, and in the user guide, there's a little image code that we place on our website. And here it is. I'll explain to you the different components, and then we'll go in and we'll do a test. All we need to do is take this little piece of code, change the username to our username. So the account name that I signed up for with AdMinder, it's DA3GAN in our example, and a description of it. So if this was someone coming through our lead capture page, we could say lead or subscribe like we have in this example here. So this is what we'll use. We'll go back to our Dreamweaver HTML page, and let's imagine that a person only gets to this page we're looking at right here after they opt into our lead capture page. So we could place this little tracking pixel at the bottom or the top of this page, and inside of our tracking program, we'd get to see how many clicks it takes to get a person to come through our lead capture page, the front door, and all the according math, all the rest of the math that goes into that particular process. So here's how we install that. We go down to the bottom HTML code, /HTML. Right before it, we copy and paste our little code in there. We change the user code to our account name. And if we want our describer to be different from subscribe, we'll change it to lead. Then we just name it whatever we want. Really, it doesn't matter. You can put whatever you want in there. It's going to come out as that. If I put in, anything, we'll see it inside of our ad tracking account. You'll see that in a second. But that's all we do. We copy and paste that into the page after someone opts in, and it's going to show us how many leads we get. Now, if we were having a sale, what we would do is imagine after someone went through our sales page, we would have another little tracking pixel, and here's this tracking pixel from this account. The process and the methodology behind it is the same no matter what ad tracking program you're using. But you would take this and you would paste this at the bottom of your thank you page after someone purchases. You could put in the amount so you could know how much they paid, and then your ad tracking account would do the appropriate math. So the other thing you could do is if you wanted to title that particular link something like, front-end product or free CD buyer, we could put that in there too. Now, for our demonstration's purposes, what I'm going to do is I'm going to place both of these pixels on the same page so you can get the effect. Now, what it's going to do is we're going to see 100% conversion rate on everything because we're just going to click through to one page. You'll see. So we change our username, again, to the same one. Let's say someone paid $97 for this. Let's put in 97, and let's call this MLM Success. So they bought Internet MLM Success. We're done. All we have to do now is we have to click Save. Done with the saving portion. Pull up our little page that we saved it to, which is our test HTML page. FTP it back to where we started, right in here. And because we already have a version of this, our FTP program is going to ask us if we want to overwrite it. We do, because we're just updating the same page with some new information. So we would say OK. Looks like we're done. We can go back and check that page, which is this page. Click refresh. Now the page isn't going to look any different, but if we view the source of the page, at the bottom we should see our 2 little tracking pixels, which you can see here. These are live out there on the internet now. So part 1 done. The other part to our testing is this. Now that we've got our tracking pixels on our own website so that our tracking program knows what to look for and knows how to create the appropriate values in here in our back office, the next thing we want to do is we want to create a new link. So we click New, and we want to call this Test ML, so Test for Maximum Leverage. Our redirect page is, since we're not actually going to send people through a lead capture page, we're just going to send them straight here for testing purposes so you can see how the pixels fire and how that looks after you've done it, is we're just going to redirect people through our tracking link directly to this page. So we're going to copy and paste that. We're going to put that in here. The next thing we want to do is we want to select our purpose. Since we're testing both lead capture and sale, what we want to do is we want to click purpose is to track both sales and actions. Pretty simple. Description is test for the Genius Max Levers. Let's say our ad cost was $20. So let's put in $20 right there so we can see all the math. If our ad had a start date or an end date, we would see all of that right here. Or we could also put that in right here, excuse me. And if we want to put in the contact information for whatever venue we were getting traffic from, we could put it in here so we didn't forget it. Also, we could put down here an ad that we use so we know which one we use if we wanted to test another one or use the same one again in the future. So that's pretty much it as far as ad tracking is concerned, creating a tracking link. We'll put this in a different group. We'll call this group newsletter, just so it's easier for me to pull up once we create it. So we'll imagine that tracking link we just created is going to be used for a $20 newsletter ad that we're placing. If we want to use it, we just scroll down to the group newsletter. We pull up our little link we just created, which is Test ML. And here's our link. This is the link that we would use. Now, let's suppose we were doing this with article marketing. We could domain forward and mask a domain and use this tracking link to be what we redirect our forwarded and masked domain name to. But let's check out our math. Let's see if this actually works or if Dagan's crazy. So we're going to go to our page. Remember, it should just take us to the page that we created earlier. And in fact, it does. So what we're going to be able to see is how ad tracking works now. So if we go back to the main, we're going to see all the math. Remember, we put all of our tracking pixels in the same place. We got one click. That was me. One action. That was me, because we put the little lead capture image and pixel on our page there, and we can click on that to see that lead. Remember, that was the description we created, so it shows us that. Also shows the IP address that we're coming from. We got one sale because we put the other tracking pixel on the page as well. So if we click that, we're going to see that we had one order for $97. Cha-ching, we're rich. And what did they order? They ordered MLM Success. From the IP address, and the timestamp that they made that order was June 23rd, etc., etc., etc. And we can see our ROI is 385%. We're winning. We just made some money if this was a real ad. That's the power of ad tracking. If this was a real ad, then you would say, this is a great place to go to get sales, and you would go and place ads over and over and over again, and you just make money. That's why ad tracking is powerful. If, on the other hand, we paid $20, we didn't get any sales, and we tried it a couple times, we may very well say the opposite. It's not worth my money. Let's go and try something new. We don't know any of this information unless we track what we do. And that's how to do it. So we've been through a few simple things. Let me just quickly review. Ad tracking. We know what all the little letters mean up here at the top. Click, cost per click, action, lead. Cost per action, well, 1 click to 1 action. So we, if in our example, pay $20. Click to action. So how many clicks to get an action? 1. So we had 100% conversion rate there. Sales, S for sales, cost per sale. Well, we paid $20. We got 1 sale, so it was $20 per sale. Click to sale. So how many clicks does it take us to get a sale? 1 click, 1 sale from our test, 100% conversion. ROI, return on investment. We made $97. We paid $20, and our ROI is 385%. Man, I wish all ads that we place work that well. But the power is to actually know how to do it. So that's what the numbers mean. Remember, we place our little tracking pixels either at the bottom or the top of our pages that we want them to be tracked for. In our example, remember, we would imagine that we had a lead capture page that we sent our traffic to or through our tracking link, and then after they opted in, they would come to this page. This little pixel would fire. If they added this product to the cart and they purchased it, they would go to the thank you page, and we would imagine that this tracking pixel would be there, and then that would fire, and we'd be able to see from every single click how many leads we're getting, how many sales we're getting, and we'd be able to do the math to know if it's a smart decision to go and do it over and over again. So that's the other part. And the final part is we create our simple little tracking link by just filling out this information. Where do we want them to redirect to? If we create a specific group, we put them in that group. Purpose, sales and actions, descriptions. If there's a cost, we put in a cost. If there's a start and end date for our ad, like a newsletter, it runs on, say, June 28th. We would put that there so we wouldn't forget it. Contact information for the website we fill out down here. And then we use our little tracking link when we place this ad, and we get to see what happens. That's ad tracking in a nutshell. You want to do it for everything you do as far as advertising online. And that's the magic behind it. Not very complicated.